Salte.
Is that hello in
It's
Navi?
Navi for hello.
Oh man, this is a hot start.
I'm Erin.
I'm Tom.
And this is Baby's First Watch List, the podcast that is finally delving into the Sam Worthington filmography.
First of many.
Today, we have one of the biggest box offices of all time. And I'm saying one of because it's very complicated. It took me like half an hour to kind of sift through all of that.
Just the re-releases and the original
and like
things like that.
who actually, and if you adjust for inflation, whatever. So I'm just saying one of the biggest box offices of all time. It's 2009's Avatar.
Woo!
Which is also apparently was called in promotions James Cameron's Avatar.
Brilliant.
This sci-fi epic starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, and Sigourney Weaver was the brainchild of James Cameron, who directed, wrote, co-produced, and co-edited this movie. He is also known for movies like Titanic, The Terminator and its sequel, Aliens, The Abyss, and True Lies, which was just on TV the other night.
Yeah.
The cinematographer of this movie was Mauro Fiore. He was also known for one of our episodes.
Really?
He wasn't the cinematographer of our episode, but he was a cinematographer for a movie that we covered.
Pan's Labyrinth?
No.
It's
like random.
It's random.
Yeah.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Training Day.
Oh, okay.
So he works. I think he works with Antoine Fuqua a lot.
Okay.
And he also just did his latest big one is Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, nice.
And he's also going to do the Madam Web. Who's that? Who's Madam Web?
Web.
Who is Madam Web?
She's like some low tier Marvel villain that somebody famous is playing her.
Okay.
So it was like, oh, this person is getting a Marvel movie. Who is it?
Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, Dakota Johnson.
Okay, yeah. So he's doing that one too. The music was by James Horner. You might recognize that name. He's known for Field of Dreams, Titanic, Glory, Apollo 13, and Braveheart.
Okay, so Titanic.
He died, though, in a plane crash.
Oh, wow. When?
2015, I believe.
Jeez.
And
R.I.P.
He has a whole section of musical integrity, it's called, or something like that.
On his Wikipedia?
Yeah. So basically, he used to take kind of like, you know how you're not supposed to plagiarize your own paper?
Right.
Where you take stuff from previous papers?
Yeah.
He used to do that with music parts. And so, there's some of his movies, later movies, have things that are very similar to his past movies.
I don't find an issue with that.
So he argued that there's no issue.
Yeah, I don't find an issue with that at all.
Yeah.
It's your creative intellectual property. Why shouldn't you be able to use it?
Well, that's what his argument was.
Yeah. Good
so
for him.
he won two Oscars for Titanic, for score and for My Heart Will Go On.
Oh, was he like a co-writer on
I think
that?
so.
Cool.
And he's known for kind of Celtic-y stuff too. So he did Avatar, the score for Avatar. The development...
Cameron assembled an all-star team for this movie, plus himself.
Yeah. Well, it was mainly himself.
He's the main
It was
all-star.
Cameron, and then Scottie Pippen, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So the development of Avatar started way back in 1994. And it was supposed...
Which is, ironically enough, about the exact same amount of time between Avatar 1 and Avatar The Way of Water.
Yeah. It was supposed to be released in 1999, but... Cameron wasn't really happy with the technological advances at the time. He was like, look,
I read that.
I think if I wait a little bit longer.
He had done T2 3D right after Terminator 2 came out a couple years later, and it was like a little thing, and he was not happy with the way that it went. Everything was too bulky and everything, and he was like, I'm just going to wait for the technology to sort of catch up.
Yeah, but the Terminator 2 ride at Universal slapped.
It's basically, that's what T2 3D was.
Yeah, okay. You know that a guy drove a motorcycle onto the stage
In
the ride?
Oh yeah, I've done it.
So cool.
That was at Universal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did that last time.
And then the big head goes
We did that when we were there.
Yeah, it was
last time a few years ago. It's gone now, right?
It's gone now.
Yeah, R.I.P.
It was so fun. Development of the Na'vi language started in 2005. And which is just like, why? It is not as good as the Game of Thrones language.
The
Why?
Dothraki.
Why is the Game of Thrones Dothraki better?
Why?
Because the guy who made it, his wife's name was Erin.
Ah.
And so Erin in Dothraki means beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
So Dothraki will always be my favorite fake language.
Yeah.
So not Na'vi.
What does Aaron mean in Na'vi?
Idiot. No, they actually do, I think, have a word for it. I think Zoe Saldana calls Sam Worthington it all the time. The screenplay started to come together the following year in 2006. And of course, we know it came out late 2009, and it was supposed to come out May 2009, and then that got
Oscar
passed
season.
to Oscar season. Avatar has a devastating 162-minute runtime.
As opposed to the apocalyptic 192 or whatever for Avatar: The Way of Water.
That's exactly, I say it later on. Yes. It premiered in December 2009, and it was a critical and commercial success. It had a truly wild $237 million budget. But it has made $2.923 billion.
So far.
I don't understand. It was the highest grossing at the time. Then in 2019, it was passed by
Avengers Endgame,
which we saw in theaters.
We did.
That was good. And then a Chinese re-release put Avatar back on
Oh,
top.
yeah. They cheated it this year or last year to get it back over.
Yes.
Before the second one came out. Yeah.
So it's back on top. Adjusted for inflation, though, it is the number 2 highest box office gross ever. The highest, if you adjust for inflation, has made well over $3 billion.
Titanic.
No, it's from a very long time ago.
Gone with the Wind?
Gone with the Wind.
Wow.
Yes, from the 30s, which is a pretty racist movie.
I haven't seen it, but I've only heard.
The promotion for Avatar was insane. I had a lot of trouble, like with this Wikipedia page. I could not figure some of this stuff out. It's just like, it's crazy. Some estimated that it cost $150 million to advertise for Avatar.
Just to
alone.
advertise.
Just the advertisements and the stuff that they did.
Does that count in when you say the budget for this movie was this? That
Yes.
counts the.
Yes, it counts towards.
So that's like over half of it was the marketing.
Yeah. So, first of all, Coca-Cola Zero, Coke Zero did a whole thing with like specially marked bottles. And like if you like scanned it, you could do like something in 3D. Just like, why? McDonald's had an Advertise promotion where you upload a picture and then you can see yourself turn into a Na'vi, which it's like nowadays it's so dated because they have like the Snapchat avatar filter. They've got all that.
Yeah. Well, maybe that it wasn't. It's not dated. It's not outdated. It was the precursor.
Yes, there you go. The trailer release, a 3.5-minute trailer release, happened at the Cowboys field during a game. Why?
Like at halftime?
Why? I don't know.
It must have been at halftime.
And so that, I'm sure they played it at the same time, like on whatever channel it was on. But it was like specifically like, we're playing this at the Cowboys field. 3.5-minute trailer.
That is insane. That is truly insane.
There was a book that was released a month before the movie. That's a 224-page field guide on Pandora, which is the setting of Avatar. What? Who needs that? There were 2 other books that were released before the movie, including a children's scrapbook.
What is... This is genius, by the way.
They released a video game in early December 2009.
I don't remember that at all, actually.
Me either. I don't really remember Avatar doing anything.
Avatar Mania?
There was no Avatar Mania. Mattel did action figures. There were Happy Meal Na'vi toys. And the France Post Office made stamps. I told you, it's like so hard to find info on this. Of course, in the post Avatar Mania, there's an entire kind of mini Pandora and Disney World and Animal Kingdom, including 2 rides and a really good counter service lunch place.
One of my questions.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Oh, well, that was my food segment. I want to talk about the restaurant.
Perfect. And one of the rides is really good. It's really good. But the ride is 4 minutes. Like, I love a 4-minute ride.
If Avatar was 4 minutes, it
If
would have been
Avatar
amazing.
was 4 minutes, yo, that would slap. There is also a Cirque du Soleil prequel show somewhere out there in the universe.
If you've ever heard of this, if you know anything about the Cirque du Soleil show, please get in contact with us because I have to know more. We have to have this person. We have to have these people on the podcast.
There's also 4 novels planned, like prequel novels.
Does he write them?
Originally, he planned to write them, and then he gave it to somebody.
Because I was gonna say, if he writes these, what is George R.R. Martin's excuse?
Exactly.
While we're talking Game of Thrones.
So when it was released, Avatar broke records, but Wikipedia made sure that they said even though a blizzard hit the East Coast opening weekend.
Even Wikipedia is in this guy's pocket.
I know. It hit $1 billion profit on day 19. And day 19 post Avatar.
Yes.
And $2 billion by the end of January. But Avatar tries to be fair and balanced. One thing that's important to note is that Avatar really took advantage of the more expensive IMAX and 3D tickets. So the gross is higher
It's
than...
not like tickets sold.
Yes, exactly. So the gross is kind of higher than a typical movie would be.
And the international gross was massive too.
It was like released in like a bajillion theaters, like a crazy, like 14,000 theaters or something.
I remember a couple weeks ago before Avatar 2 came out that they were talking about how in order for it to hit that $2 billion that Cameron said had to be the minimum for them to make back the money, it had to do really, really well in China because China was their key.
I read something on Wikipedia that South Korea had like an interactive movie theater experience where there would be like explosions and water hitting you and stuff at the movie theater.
You're just drenched when you walk in. You're sitting there sopping wet for 3.5 hours.
Yes. Yeah, I mean it is underwater, right? Wait, is it underwater? Oh no, the new one's underwater.
I'm talking about the second one.
Okay, yeah. No, the first one, South Korea did all that.
Okay.
Avatar currently has an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics were super impressed with the technical aspects and they were disappointed with the story. Some of the themes in Avatar have gotten lots of attention, kind of the social and political discussions of it. I know the second one, there's a lot of controversy with some of Cameron's comments about Native American tribes.
Is there? I haven't read
and
anything
that's
about it.
not good. And there were a lot of ideas from Avatar that people claim to have seen in other movies. Fern Gully, Pocahontas, that kind of stuff. Dances with Wolves.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. Which was also criticized, I believe, for its portrayals of...
There you go. But it said something on Wikipedia about how, like, James Cameron has always won cases of, like, intellectual theft. So...
He's won everything.
I mean, yeah.
Not just cases of intellectual theft.
Yeah. He's won it all. The Coca-Cola
He's won
Wars.
it all.
As far as accolades go, Avatar was nominated for 9 Oscars. It won 3 of them.
Didn't win Best Picture.
It didn't.
I remember when that happened. That was nuts.
Do you remember who won Best Picture?
Yeah, of course. Hurt Locker.
Hurt Locker.
Yeah,
and
his
do you
ex-wife.
remember who won Director?
Catherine
Bigelow, his ex-wife,
Yep.
which is kind of genius.
Yep.
Avatar was nominated, for 9. It won Art Direction, Cinematography, and Visual Effects.
Okay. I could see all those. I think those are all fair.
Yeah. I actually think that the Oscars kind of got it right.
I mean, I don't remember the Hurt Locker. I remember liking it then.
I
but-
remember. No, I'm just saying in Avatar not winning.
Okay. Regardless of what actually won.
Yeah. It won the Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture Drama and Best Director. So it's an interesting thing that, like...
The Globes suck.
I know. But it's interesting that the Globes were like, yeah, give it all to Avatar. And then the Oscars were like, no, don't.
There was a period there for a few years where the Globes there would be a clear favorite coming out of the Globes and it never won Best Picture.
Yeah, we do a lot of that kind of tracking. Not as much as
our friend
former guest of the pod, Nick Palesi.
Yeah.
But we do like to track it, and it is interesting. Avatar win all 10 of its nominations for the Saturn Awards,
which is like the sci-fi
science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Okay, I've got one more paragraph here. This, like, it's wild, all this stuff on Avatar. There are, like, 4 sequels planned.
At least.
The first of which, The Way of Water, was released a few weeks ago. Avatar: The Way of Water is half an hour longer than the original, so it's like 3 hours long, and it's doing pretty well at the box office. I am a little bit perplexed.
Stunned.
I said the third one is pretty much fully filmed as well.
It's fully filmed. Apparently, there's a 9-hour cut of it that he sent to the studio.
It's just wild.
Yeah.
I find
wait, what about Avatar 4?
Avatar 4, he says goes nuts. So, I mean, did the first two not go nuts?
I mean, take that as you will.
We're just really ramping it up. I find Avatar absolutely fascinating because I find that it has had next to no cultural impact, but somehow the sequel is making absolute bank. What is James Cameron? Like, what's his deal, man? Like, how has he made these movies that have made so much money?
It makes no sense. At least with like the previous movies, like Titanic made sense.
Tom, you watched Avatar 3 days ago. Name 2 characters.
Neytiri and Jake. Because I wrote the plot summary.
Okay, you're right. I knew Jake. That is it.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
There's Jake. There's Sigourney Weaver. There's Owen from Dodgeball.
Yeah,
there's,
and then there's Michelle.
Michelle Rodriguez
from Fast and Furious.
There's the guy, the villain who looks like the dude from Small Soldiers.
Like the doll?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anything. I don't remember the plot. I don't know. There's no catchphrases.
You've seen Fern Gully. Of course you remember the plot.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know a single, like, were there any famous lines?
I'm the Avatar.
Were there any
like at least you could point to Titanic? It had an iconic song. It had a bunch of quotes.
Oh my god.
Terminator 2 have a bunch of quotes.
Yes.
That you could just repeat all over and over and over again.
Well, that's it. My comparison, I like make a direct comparison to Titanic because of course James Cameron
that was his
thing
previous
too.
movie, right? That was or did he do one in between?
I don't know, but
I think that was his previous movie.
So, okay, you've got I'm King of the World. You got Paint Me Like One of Your French Girls.
Right.
You have Billy Zane, baby.
Oh, just in general.
You've got the, would they fit on the door or not?
Right.
That whole thing.
Right.
You've got the My Heart Will Go On.
Yeah.
Just too many iconic moments to count in Titanic. Everyone saw it. It had two VHS tapes.
Yeah, I mean, and then like the Terminators, you get "I'll Be Back." You get all the Arnold
Sarah
quotes from
Connor
the.
is like this big hero. I like Avatar has none of that.
Nothing.
None of it. So why did everyone see it? I saw it in 2009. Why did I see it?
I believe that
blue people.
I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with blue people. Like,
I love Blue Man Group.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen Blue Man Group like 4 times.
Yeah, and it also contributed to a great quote by Tobias Funke in Arrested Development.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
Okay, I'll get into it later on what my issues are with the blue people.
Okay.
Should I do the plot summary?
Just do the plot summary. Whatever. I don't even care. I feel like you could do it in 2 seconds.
No, I can't. Look what I got here.
Oh my god.
All right. So,
buckle in.
We're in the year 2154.
Yeah, there's no reason for that either.
And Earth's natural resources have been depleted. Ever the survivalists, we Earthlings have been mining the valuable mineral.
Oh, what is it?
Unobtainium.
Which is like,
well,
my
Well, apparently unobtainium is supposed to be like a widget. Like they don't know exactly what it is, but it's like something that's really important.
The name needs to be better than unobtainium.
Yes. And it's like the 5th word that they say in the movie.
Oh, help.
And unobtainium is located on Pandora, which is a moon in the Alpha Centauri star system.
How do you say help in Navi?
Pandora is inhabited by the Na'vi, a civilization of 10-foot-tall, blue-skinned humanoids that live harmoniously with nature.
So they're aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. To explore Pandora, genetically matched human scientists use Na'vi-human hybrids called avatars that they access through machinery at their base. Paraplegic Marine Jake Sully, played by Sam Worthington, is sent to Pandora to replace his deceased identical twin, who had signed up to be an operator. Avatar program head Dr. Grace Augustine, played by Sigourney Weaver, considers Sully inadequate, but nevertheless accepts him as a bodyguard.
He's a former Marine who's
Yes.
a quadriplegic, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, what are you talking about? But
Yeah.
like, kinda.
But kind of, and also...
But he's also Australian.
He's also Australian.
Yeah.
While escorting the avatars of Grace and Dr. Norm Spellman, who is played by Joel David Moore, who is from Dodgeball. You probably know him from. Jake's avatar, or Avatar, I guess. Jake's avatar
Nobody knows him from Avatar.
is attacked by Pandoran wildlife, and he flees into the forest. At this point, when they can't evacuate him due to imminent nightfall, Grace and Norm leave Jake to fend for himself.
Oh, well.
See you later, buddy. While Jake is on the precipice of disaster, he's rescued by the female Na'vi named Neytiri, played by Zoe Saldana. Though suspicious of Jake, she nevertheless brings him back to her clan. The clan's spiritual leader and Neytiri's mother, Moat, orders her daughter to initiate Jake into their society. Which, why?
Why?
I didn't
There's
understand
no
that.
reason for that.
Anyway, back in the human world, Colonel Miles Quaritch, played by Stephen Lang, the head of the human security force, promises Jake that they will restore the use of his legs, which is by unspecified means, if he provides information about the Na'vi and their gathering place, the giant home tree, under which is a rich deposit of unobtainium. Learning of this, Grace transfers herself, Jake, and Norm to an outpost. Meanwhile, as Jake learns from Neytiri the ways of the Na'vi and continues to develop an attachment to athleticism and other physical activities he no longer has in his real life, he and Neytiri begin to fall in love. While Jake is initiated into the tribe, he and Neytiri choose each other as mates, even though Neytiri is betrothed to Sute, the tribe's greatest warrior. When Jake attempts to disable a bulldozer which is threatening a sacred Na'vi site, the administrator orders Home Tree destroyed. I forgot who played the administrator. That's the guy who I thought was Sam Rockwell.
Oh, okay.
It was Giovanni Ribisi or something.
Yeah. He's the guy who always looks like... No, he's not the guy who always looks like he's eyeliner on. He's the one from The Art of Self-Defense.
Are you talking about the guy from Lost?
Yeah.
That always looks like it. The guy who played Richard Alpert.
He always looks like he's eyeliner on.
He does. Which is why I knew exactly who you were talking about. Despite Grace's argument that destroying Home Tree could damage Pandora's biological neural network, which basically means that all the trees and the plant life and all of that interact with each other like a brain.
Yeah, that's like my pinched nerve.
Yeah, exactly. The administrator gives Jake and Grace 1 hour to convince the Na'vi to evacuate.
Meanwhile, just by the way, Sigourney Weaver's in a Stanford t-shirt made for her Na'vi size, and she has on. She has on the braids that like little blonde girls go on like cruises, and they get like the beads in the hair.
Yeah.
And they come back and you're like, girl, you should not have gotten that. That's her Na'vi hairstyle. It's not okay.
Jake confesses to the Na'vi that he was a spy, so they take him and Grace captive. Meanwhile, Quaritch's men destroy Home Tree, killing many, including Neytiri's father, the clan chief.
Oh, and I was like, oh, her mom died. I was like so lost.
You said that the second time watching it.
Yeah.
Like the other day.
Yeah. Yes.
Moat frees Jake and Grace, but they are detached from their avatars and imprisoned by Quaritch's forces. Pilot Trudy Chacon, played by Michelle Rodriguez, who just serves the only purposes of like making weird quips throughout the movie.
She's like, oh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah. I'm out of here. Disgusted.
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, exactly. Disgusted by Quaritch's brutality, she airlifts Jake, Grace, and Norm to Grace's outpost. Grace is shot during the escape.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Jake regains the Na'vi's trust by connecting his mind to a dragon-like creature feared and revered by the Na'vi, which I just straight up didn't write what it was called. At the Sacred Tree of Souls, which I think we are just introduced to at that point in the movie.
5 hours in.
Jake pleads with Moat to heal Grace. Though they attempt to transfer Grace into her avatar with the aid of the Tree of Souls, again, totally unexplained, she dies.
Oh, she died?
She died.
Oh, so she's not in the sequel.
She is in the sequel. Supported by new chief Sute, Jake unites the clan, telling them to gather all of the clans for battle. Quaritch organizes a strike against the Tree of Souls to demoralize the Na'vi. Meanwhile, Jake prays to Na'vi deity Iwa via a neural connection with the Tree of Souls, though Sute and Trudy are among the battle's heavy casualties.
I just like, is this in English?
No, it's in Na'vi.
I don't know what's going on.
Suddenly, Pandora wildlife unexpectedly join the attack and overwhelm the humans, which Neytiri interprets as Awa answering Jake's prayer. Quaritch, wearing a mech suit, escapes his crashed aircraft and breaks open the Avatar Link unit containing Jake's human body, exposing it to Pandora's poisonous atmosphere. As Quaritch prepares to slit Jake's avatar's throat, he is killed by Neytiri. Neytiri saves Jake from suffocation, seeing his human form for the first time. With the exceptions of Jake, Norm, and a select few others, all humans are expelled from Pandora, and Jake is permanently transferred into his avatar with the aid of the Tree of Souls.
Oh yeah, and then the last thing, it's like
Avatar.
he like goes like his eyes.
It's
open
the first one too. First frame too. He opens his eyes
as
a human.
A human.
Yeah.
Wow, good bookend,
Yeah.
James Cameron.
Yep.
The middle part, you know.
Yeah.
But wow,
That's
I don't remember any of that.
That's Avatar, baby.
I don't remember any of
And
that.
I was the one playing with the baby during the movie.
Yeah.
It's not like you were distracted by I was distracted by him.
Yeah, that was. So wait, she's in the sequel?
Sigourney?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe she came back in here, but I didn't catch that in the plot summary. But she's definitely in the sequel.
Okay.
My favorite thing about the sequel is what Edie Falco said.
Oh yeah, she filmed it like a billion years ago. She thought it just came out and didn't do well.
She said, I don't know if this was the exact quote, but the headline I read was Edie Falco said that she filmed Avatar 4 years ago and assumed that it already came out and flopped.
Genius. Meanwhile, Kate Winslet was like, I learned how to breathe underwater for 9 minutes. For Avatar 2, really?
Oh man.
And George Stephanopoulos was like, oh yeah, so you learned how to get new lungs? I was like, George.
What?
She was on Good Morning America, and she was like, I learned how to breathe underwater for 9 minutes. And he said, oh, so you learned how to get like a higher capacity lung?
Like as if it was nothing?
Yeah, as like he was like, oh wow, that's not like basically he's saying that wasn't true. And
like you
she was
can't
just
do
like,
that?
Yeah, like you can't do that.
Right,
And she just kind of
right.
smiled, and I would have been like, George, how about you go underwater
How many
for 9
Oscars
minutes?
do you have?
How many Oscars do you have, George? Actually, George's first movie was picked up at Sundance this year, so
Really?
we'll see. One of
Really?
it that he's producing, yeah. So we'll see.
Maybe he'll get one.
Oh, it's the Judy. Is it the Judy Blume documentary? It's one of the documentaries.
Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret?
I love.
That's coming
Judy
out.
Blume. I love Judy Blume.
Is that it?
Well, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret was one of her books.
Yeah, there's a movie coming out.
Oh, well, I'll watch it.
Is that the one that he produced?
No,
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's like Love Judy or something like that.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's like about her?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, okay, I said, my first thing I said is the papyrus is still jarring because Avatar's in papyrus font.
Oh, yeah. Entirely.
Yeah.
The
And
Na'vi subtitles. The subtitles for any Reels and TikToks you see from this episode will be in papyrus.
Yes. So, in case you're not familiar, Tom wasn't. Years later, 9 years, like almost a decade after Avatar came out, SNL had a really funny sketch where Ryan Gosling is just haunted by the papyrus font in Avatar. It's very funny. And James Cameron was just asked about it, and he said he didn't know what papyrus font was.
James Cameron said that.
And he said he thought it just looked cool.
Well, that makes sense because if he knew what it was and he knew that like the reputation it has of being like lame,
Yeah.
then he wouldn't have used it.
Yeah.
Or maybe he would have. I don't know.
Who knows?
He would have been like, "Oh, actually, I think it's the most clearest font that there is."
Yeah, exactly.
It just speaks to me in Na'vi.
Yeah, exactly. My first question was, why did James Cameron name this Avatar when there's already a well-known Avatar series?
Because he's an alpha.
I said Pandora would be an easy name.
Pandora's
for
already was it around back
diner?
then?
Diner
Yeah,
in
a diner,
South
a
Jersey.
local diner in New Jersey. No, it was also it's already like the
Oh, the
music
jewelry.
thing. Or the music
It's jewelry. Oh, and the music thing.
service. I don't know if that was around in.
How come he didn't just like pick a new name? He made up a whole language.
He should have named it Unobtainium
Oh. Yeah. But why do you like,
or Na'vi.
I'm just very yeah, Na'vi. Why not Na'vi?
Yeah, I was very confused. I also had not seen the Avatar: The Last Airbender series at this time.
Yeah.
I have seen it now, and it's amazing. Go watch it. I was confused between the two.
Yeah.
And then the movie The Last Airbender came out,
Yeah.
and I was like, wait a minute. So there's Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's Avatar, and there's The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
It just really got all messed up for me for a little while.
So that's confusing me. I don't know why you picked it. You think it's because he's an alpha and he's like, I'm just going to do it and it'll be
Yeah.
good?
Nobody's going to remember that Avatar. It's James Cameron's Avatar.
Yeah. I like all these questions, like none of them have to do with the movie.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I have anything that has to do with the
Okay.
movie either.
My one question is, how do you feel about the casting of Sam Worthington and why do you think they didn't go with someone more famous?
Well, so I read that they cast Sam Worthington because James Cameron wanted somebody who was less well known. He wanted somebody who you could have a beer with, I think was the quote that he had, that he was interviewed, and he said he basically didn't want to cast a movie star because he wanted you to identify with the main character.
Okay.
Which,
I mean, I didn't.
I didn't either.
So, fail.
I mean, I give him credit for trying to make a new star.
Yeah, and, you know, I didn't find Sam Worthington unlikable.
No.
He's fine.
No, I mean, he just doesn't have the, in this movie at least, I'm not really familiar with his other work, but he doesn't have the charisma of somebody like, say, like a Jason Statham or somebody who like sort of looks like him, you know?
Yeah.
Like one of those actors.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Statham is like one of a kind, but those types of, I think that's kind of what, like the edginess that Cameron was going for.
Mm-hmm.
And it just didn't really land with me.
No, me either. Plus, I mean, I was like, okay, is he happy? Is he not happy?
He wasn't happy.
But then, I don't know. He was just like Les Mis, I think.
He was an avatar for the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Cameron, there's levels to it.
I said here, how did Grace get a Stanford crop top in Na'vi size? And then
Who made that for her?
Who made that for her? And then also I said, also, this makes me think of my favorite conspiracy theory that Stanford doesn't exist.
Yes.
You told me about this theory.
Yes. Do you know anybody who's been to Stanford?
No, but we live in New Jersey.
I know, but I heard it online from somebody who does not live in New Jersey. And that's basically it. There's nothing really to the story. There's nothing really to the conspiracy theory.
Nobody knows anybody who went to Stanford.
Yeah, if we have any Stanford grads that listen to this podcast, and you have maybe,
Proof.
video proof, I don't even know. Maybe the video is doctored. I don't believe that Stanford exists.
I love that theory. It's just like, who went to Stanford? Andrew Luck.
Yeah, Richard Sherman.
Yeah. Grace.
Great Dr. Grace Augustine from Avatar 2009 and apparently Avatar The Way of Water 2022. I'm going to look up Stanford grads.
You don't trust any of them?
Not a single one.
Where is Stanford?
California,
Where
allegedly.
in California?
John Steinbeck, John F. Kennedy, Reese Witherspoon. Stanford don't exist. Who else we got? Oh my God, there's so many people. There's a million people who have Christian McCaffrey. Manon just texted. He said it's in the San Francisco area.
Okay.
Oh my God, there's a whole Wikipedia page and it's got like 100, 200 people.
So that actually makes me think it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
If all those celebrities went.
Yeah.
And famous people.
Roger Corman, Ted Danson, Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, if Ted Danson went there, there's no way.
Issa Rae, there's no shot. And like Fred Savage, these people didn't go to Stanford. Adam West dropped out.
He knew.
So did Reese. Yeah, I don't know. There's no Stanford. That's all I gotta say about that.
So Grace is lying on her with her Stanford crop top.
Well, it's similar to how James Cameron has everybody in his pocket to say whatever he wants. Maybe
Yeah.
Stanford is maybe James Cameron is like a he's in on the Stanford thing.
Yeah.
And it's like he has to put it in the movie because he wants to make people think that it exists. I don't know why yet, but I'll get there.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I haven't nailed down the reasoning.
I said, what's the worst hair choice in this movie? Is it Jake's long braid? Is it Grace's 13-year-old coming back after her mid-year vacation on a cruise hair?
Tiger Woods apparently also went to Stanford. The worst hair is all of it.
All of it?
Yeah.
Everybody's hair?
All of the Avatar hair. Not the Na'vi hair. The Na'vi hair is fine. But the choice of...
It seems that the Avatar people chose their hairstyles. It's like a Sims thing.
Yeah.
And they all chose poorly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And inappropriately.
Yeah, and very inappropriately as well.
Yes.
I said, one of the most confusing things about Avatar is it's one of my friend Gina's favorite movies.
Oh.
No, but
the other day she was over and we were talking about it and she was like, "Oh, I haven't seen it since it came out." And also I don't remember anything about it. So that's up in the air to me if you ask me.
The last thing I wrote, and it's no capitals, no nothing. I just said, how come none of them are like short?
I don't know. They're all the exact same size.
They're all 8'3". Every Navi is 8'3".
I didn't even think of that. They're all pretty much the exact same size.
They're all extraordinarily tall.
Muscular.
Like, where am I supposed to be?
Right.
Short and stout.
You could never be a Navi.
Little teapot Navi. We don't have the little teapot Navi.
No, not a single one.
They're all the same size.
Well, maybe there are one because the movie's like 8 hours long. I mean, maybe I didn't catch every frame, but
listen, I don't know. I think they're all very tall.
I mean, that's the impression I get because the avatars have to be really tall.
But not that Avatar showed no love for the short kings. Fact.
That's exactly it.
Maybe Avatar: The Way of Water has more kind of height inclusivity.
From what I've heard, it doesn't seem like there's better representation in Avatar 2.
No. I think some of them are green.
From what you Nick Pileggi told us that it was a different tribe.
Yes. The water ones.
Yeah, they're green.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we'll be able to tell them apart from the other tribe.
Yes.
Great.
Right.
I can't wait to see
it. But he didn't even know that Kate Winslet was in the movie.
He didn't?
He said, right? It was either her or Edie Falco. He was like, I didn't even realize that was her. Nick.
Oh, he didn't realize it. I thought you meant that Edie Falco might have said that.
No.
She didn't know that Kate Winslet
No, he said when he watched it, he didn't know that Kate Winslet was in it until afterwards. My sister hated it.
Yeah. Oh, she went off.
She FaceTimed us.
Immediately after
and talked trash about Avatar: The Way of Water.
I mean, Cameron's prized outing.
I'm like, doesn't sequel. Go nuts?
Well, he didn't say Avatar: The Way of Water went nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. Unfortunately, we're definitely going to have to watch Avatar: The Way of Water because it'll probably be nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to get nominated.
So, I'm just going to do my thing. I'll watch it, eat some popcorn, kind of like, look up recipes on my phone.
Yeah, that'll be a really in-depth watch.
Yeah.
We're really going to give it a shot.
That's all I have.
I don't have many questions, but I have a lot of comments.
Okay. Oh my, yes you do.
One of them is just a Stanford shirt? ?
Crop top Stanford shirt in Navi size.
Okay, so I didn't realize this movie involved space.
Yeah, they're on the moon.
No, they're not on the moon. I said it in the plot summary. They're on a moon.
A moon.
In Alpha Centauri, which is the nearest galaxy, I think, to us.
How did they get there?
It's freaking however many years later.
100 years.
It's only 100 years? Yeah, it's like 2154.
Listen, like, what were we doing 100 years ago? Pretty much the same thing.
No.
Churn and butter, like, but it's all the same. Well, okay, we
have that little thing called the internet now.
We watch WWE now. Okay, they had WWE in real life.
What are you talking about?
They had like the two like really big guys from the village fight each other. Okay, that's the same thing. You're
saying that in 1922 they had the two guys from the village
beat each other up and it was like their WWE. We haven't progressed that much is what I'm saying.
Since 1922? Well, we haven't
1922 was like
that was like a few years before the Great Depression.
Yeah, that's like the same thing. We're in that now.
It's been a depression for a few years.
Listen, the past 10 years have not been great, Tom.
I mean, listen, Avatar came out and the world went down after that. We had reached our pinnacle. And now hopefully Avatar: The Way of Water will bring us home. Will bring us back.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
But like, listen, 130 years from now, I just don't see us being able to travel to galaxies separate from ours and to moons. Like, I just don't.
No, I don't see that either. Unfortunately, because some people might be able to. The rich people, like they're
Lord.
the crew of the guys doing all the space launches.
Yeah, maybe
Elon and Bezos did one, right?
Listen, they're not getting us to freaking.
No, they're going. We're not going.
Pandora.
We're not going.
No.
Did Bronson do one?
Who, Bronson Crowe?
Yes, exactly. Branson. Sorry, Richard Branson. I was thinking the other night. Bronson. Okay. So my first comment was, did not realize this involved space. And then my second comment was, why are there humans in this? Why couldn't it just be about like the Na'vi? What, none of the humans' storylines matter.
Because Cameron wants us to feel like we are a part of it. Like we can connect to the characters.
He wanted that.
Yeah, and it's not like we couldn't connect to Na'vi people.
My big problem here is with the cast.
Why?
If you look at the major...
cast is stacked.
If you look at the major blockbusters...
Yeah.
They all, like in history, they all have top flight elite casts.
Not Avatar.
Not Avatar.
No.
Not the number one.
Not number one, baby.
Not numero uno.
That's right.
Sam Worthington is the lead in the highest grossing film in movie history.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Sam Worthington. He's not Tom Cruise.
Right.
You got Sigourney. I'll give you
Sigourney.
Weaver,
Yeah, we'll take
and I'll
her.
give you Zoe Saldana.
She is like the only. She's
an unsung.
She's
blockbuster
been in
movie star.
A lot of blockbusters.
She's an unsung
I'll tell
hero.
you that, and I'm not talking about the shuttered stores, baby.
She is my favorite in Guardians of the Galaxy. Actually,
she's so. Oh my god, she's green in that.
She's the most interesting. She's blue in this and green in that.
Yeah, we know the secret.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Zoe Saldana is great. I think she's the only one in Guardians of the Galaxy that has a hint of like
acting.
Depth. No, depth.
I am Groot.
Let's not talk trash about Vin, okay?
We're not talking trash about Batista, first of all.
Yes, definitely not. We just watched Glass Onion the other night.
Very good.
Which he was great in.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
so that's my...
But you got Michelle
Rodriguez, but she's not a... I don't count... Well,
she's family.
She's family. But, like, I guess Fast and the Furious, that cast isn't... they got The Rock.
That cast is incredible.
They got
what
The
are
Rock.
You
They got
about?
Statham.
You got Paul Walker.
Yeah. Well, Paul Walker, again, that's his series. He's got nothing else besides... What was he in, like, Deep Blue or something like that?
Into the Blue, which I saw in theaters.
Yeah. He didn't quite make it as a top flight star outside.
I think he was in She's All That.
Okay.
Listen.
You got Vin. Okay, you got Vin Diesel. You got The Rock after Fast 5, I think. You got Statham after 6.
Yeah, you got Tyrese,
Ludacris. Who are at least that gives you more stars than yes, don't disrespect Ludacris and Tyrese. yeah. They're both in there. And I guess I don't know, they had Ronda Rousey in one of them. They had Gina Carano.
Oof.
R.I.P. her movie career.
That is not star power.
But so I guess it is better than Avatar.
Who else is in Avatar? The guy that gets like smashed in dodgeball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in it.
Yeah, and then the guy that looks like the animated villain in Small Soldiers.
It is.
Wow, great cast.
That makes it even more amazing that what Cameron was able to do with this movie.
I don't know why. Tom, this is my biggest question.
This is the most bewildered episode we've ever had.
It's just like, how did this make so much money when there is zero cultural impact?
I don't know. I truly don't know.
Like, there is zero cultural impact at all. No one cared about Avatar.
There's that one segment of the HBO show How To with John Wilson, which I think I've mentioned on the show before.
Great show.
You should watch it, but make sure you watch, I think it's episode 4 of the
season
first season.
1. Yeah.
Alone. That's it. One of the episodes in season 2, he's basically a documentarian, and he goes around New York City and just like has like every episode has to do with some theme. And in one of them he always ends up in these wacky places, like a Mandela Effect convention and
Spring Break with the Bang guy.
Yeah.
Bang energy drink guy.
Were those were separate.
Oh, okay.
Spring Break was
with Pauly D.
Was with Pauly D.
Yeah.
And the other one, he ends up at the mansion of the guy who owns Bang Energy. So anyway, he ends up at an Avatar like support group, and it's like all these people who are like
it's
mega.
Just a fan club. It's not a support group.
Well, they used it as a support group.
Oh yeah.
It got like kind of serious.
Got deep.
But those are the only people I know that are fans of Avatar.
Like, who likes
like fans of Avatar? Like you could say, "Oh, I liked Avatar. It was cool," but like fans of Avatar.
I just like who's collecting Avatar collectibles. Nobody.
I don't know.
Who is
Maybe there's
clamoring for it? But then again, it's made $900 million, the sequel.
already, and we're filming this.
Who's watching that?
We're filming this a couple of weeks before the episode will come out, so
Yeah,
I guess
it's
about a
probably
week.
going to make $5 bajillion by
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start with some of the good stuff.
Here's my question.
Okay, I'm not
Who's
gonna start with some
had more
of the good
of a
stuff.
cultural impact, Avatar or the Where's the Beef Wendy's lady?
More people have quoted the "Where's the Beef Lady." I think if that's what you're asking.
Who are we bowing down to as cultural impact king and queen? It's Where's the Beef Lady and What's Up, guys?
I was gonna say the Six Flags guy.
All of them have had way more of a kind of a place in my heart and an important moment in my life than Avatar.
It's I don't get it, but it's treated as, and it makes money like it's this ubiquitous thing.
It's like, oh, it's Avatar. I'm gonna go see it.
Right.
Like, no, you do not need to go see it.
Right.
Like, no one needs to go see this.
It's just, it's a visual spectacle.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, the people looked like not good.
That's my problem with it. So I didn't actually look this up, but was Pandora all CGI? Like the
I don't
surroundings
know.
and everything?
I think it's done in a very complex way. I don't even like. I'm like, okay.
So I will say that the world looked amazing. The
Sure.
scenery looked amazing.
I remember in 2009, I saw it in IMAX 3D, and I really thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the scenes where they're flying around and fighting and jumping, that stuff looks really cool. The problem is, I always come back to the Roger Ebert quote about Top Gun, which was, the action and all that stuff is awesome. But unfortunately, there at some point you have to look at the characters and they have to speak to each other.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this movie.
Yeah.
It's that the character models are completely uninteresting. All the Na'vi look the same. Like,
Yes. It was difficult to differentiate people.
and not only that, but they were uninteresting. They were uninteresting, and the humans were uninteresting.
Yeah.
For me, the movie and who am I? I'm an idiot. These movies are making billions of dollars. I'm a moron. The movie, to me, should start with the story. Bottom line. Period. Story, seen it a million times. If you don't have a story, if you don't have a great story, that's fine. I don't need the plot. I don't need the crazy twist ending. I don't need any of that. Give me a character I care about. This movie has zero characters I care about.
I'm trying to think.
Neytiri's
I can't
the
think
closest
of
one.
anybody. Yeah.
And that's it. Like, give me the plot and the story, and then build from there. I mean, clearly Cameron's got 48 hours of Avatar planned out, so maybe we'll get there eventually.
I just had a involuntary reflex to yawn when you said that.
Yeah, but I do have to say that I thought obviously the CGI is incredible, and it was while I didn't like the character models, the little stuff about it was really impressive, like the way, like the sound, the way that they created like the jungle sounds, the way the tails kind of moved, and like the braids were like really individual and everything, and
Okay.
I think that holds up. I think it all looks great.
Yeah.
The minor details and the large scale stuff. It's just the concept of the Na'vi themselves doesn't do it for me.
Like, I just feel like it would be better if it was just a blue people White Lotus.
Like they were just rich people getting
Let's
murder
get some
mystery.
drama.
You want Na'vi drama.
I want Na'vi drama. You don't think
The Pandora version of the Four Seasons in Sicily.
So you're telling me that you don't think the Na'vi go home, turn on their TVs, and watch Real Housewives of Na'vi?
I don't think they do.
Of
Especially
Pandora.
after the Small Soldiers guy blew their home up.
Do they not have TV?
They probably could if they wanted to.
They definitely could.
They live among the land. They don't really do
They
that.
learned how to do it right, basically, and we're doing it wrong, is what Cameron's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they respect nature, and
Yeah.
we said, "Ooh, cool, let's not do that."
That was why Ebert loved this movie in part too, because he was a big environmentalist.
I understand that aspect of it, of like, oh, see, look at how cool you could be, and oh, wow, cool, humans are trying to destroy that too.
Like
awesome,
they do everything
good
else.
job. Yeah,
Not only that, but imperialist, colonialist humans.
right. I totally
i.e. Americans.
I totally get that.
Yeah,
and
I think
that's a cool idea and cool.
It is. It's just we've seen it before. He doesn't.
We've seen it in many children's movies.
These
done better.
The themes and the characters and things like this, like the tropes that's what I'm trying to say, have been done so many times. But not only that, they've been done, like you said, they've been done better and they've been done more interestingly. This doesn't add a twist to any of them. There's no, this is about a certain type of modern colonialism. It seems like a clapback to the Iraq War. But it doesn't say anything that we haven't heard before.
Right.
Which
is boring.
It doesn't have to. But for a movie that's the highest grossing of all time, like, we're trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I read that somebody said that this movie, I don't remember who it was. Somebody said that Avatar was made for everybody and it was made for nobody.
Yeah.
Because it has no discrete audience.
Yeah.
But the audience is everybody because everybody saw it.
That's so crazy.
It makes no sense. It is one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, about, like, just not the movie itself, but the surrounding of the movie.
I read something that the studio was so nervous about it not doing well that they made sure that they put out Alvin and the Chipmunks the Squeakquel at the same time, that it would actually recoup some money. And
listen, was it the wrong choice? They should have they should have given I think it was a mistake. I think they should have given the Squeakquel its own weekend.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
Just for the Squeakquel.
Yeah. We got to do the Squeakquel.
You got to do the original.
Yeah. Let's see. What else did I say?
Alvin!
Towards the end, I wrote, Michelle Rodriguez's character is named Trudy.
Yeah, Trudy.
Remember Trudy from the Amanda Show? Judge Trudy from the Amanda Show?
Yeah.
She was great. Bringing the dancing lobsters.
Bringing the dancing lobsters. Who was your favorite Amanda Show character?
She's up there. She was the reason I became a lawyer. I liked Totally Kyle. Was that the Amanda Show or all that?
Totally. Yeah, Totally Kyle.
I liked the hillbilly brother and sister. I forgot their names.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you in the head with a... Yeah, I'm gonna hit you in the head with a fish.
Oh? How about Doug Spumoni or whatever his name was?
That was from Hey Arnold. Do you know Spumoni?
No. I'm thinking of, like, Josh Peck always had, like, cannolis in it or something.
Was what's his name? Pierre Escargot was all that.
Yes.
Right?
I liked Black Blister. It's better. Much better. Yeah. The only one I didn't like
was the main that was
Amanda, please. What was her name?
I don't know, but I'm looking them up. Okay, so I don't know how we got. Her name was wait a minute. Her name was Penelope Taint.
That's not appropriate.
Her name was Penelope Taint. You know who else I loved? Mr. Gullible.
Oh my god.
They'll be like, "Oh, Mr. Gullible, our normal teacher usually jumps through the window," and I'll be like, "Really?" Oh my god, what a disaster!
No, do you know what I like? The girls' room.
I like eggs. This is our 45-minute The Amanda Show segment of our Avatar episode.
I'm from Tennessee.
Oh my god,
that was a great show, man. That was the best. Moody's Point.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing that I don't like about this movie is the small soldiers guy. I think he's the most boring villain in, like, the history of movies.
He's just the evil. Like, he's an evil haircut.
Yeah, the small soldiers guy, who's good in Small Soldiers, apparently. I've never seen that movie. Sorry to any small soldiers heads out there. But, I mean, the guy has nothing...
Yeah, but he's jacked.
There's nothing interesting about him.
He's jacked.
And I found out he's in the second one, too.
Thank God.
Even though he died in this one.
There must be flashbacks.
I don't think so. I was talking to somebody who had seen it. It may have been Nick, and oh no, it was Alex. And I was like, the thing I hated about the first one was the villain and how uninteresting and boring he was. And he was like, well, there's more of them. Okay, so one of the questions I do have before I let April back in is right here. What would you have made the Avatar, the Na'vi look like? What would you have wanted them to
I would want different sizes. I would want maybe different shades of blue. You don't need, like, they can all be blue. That's fine. It's fine that they're blue. But I would want them to actually look unique.
Yeah.
All of them were the exact same.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to tell them apart.
You thought that Neytiri's dad was
Her
her
mom.
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they
like
didn't.
he copied and pasted.
Yeah,
Like, what are we doing?
but maybe that's like the point. It's like, see, you think they're all the same, but they're different.
Okay, well, that doesn't help me
Watch the movie.
watch the movie, especially when their language is in papyrus font.
That is extremely distracting. It would be like if it
Very
was in
distracting.
Comic Sans.
At least make it bold papyrus. It
Yes.
was very hard to read.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you join the Avatar program?
Depends.
On what?
Did I lose all will to live? Imagine like James Cameron tried to start up a program and it's like, hey, all you Avatar fans, you can join up.
That's like the one thing they didn't do. Like all this other marketing, he should have just had an Avatar program made.
Yeah.
We could do it.
Maybe by the fourth one, that'll be the end. It's like an Uncle Sam call to action.
I want you, and it's Cameron's face. I've been doing this for 40 years to get these 4 movies out.
Let's do it.
Time to start it up. So what other movies from this time can we compare this to visually?
I don't know.
So like there's
Frankenweenie?
yeah, I would go Avatar and Frankenweenie.
Coraline?
There was I'm thinking like the years prior. So like we're talking about how much of
District 9.
a technological advance this movie was.
What about District 9?
District 9's a good one. I'm also thinking like the Harry Potters,
Oh, you're like
Lord
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, Pirates.
It's better than those.
It
as
is.
far as
It
visually.
definitely is. That's what I was trying to think, like trying to put it into context of like how advanced this movie is. And over all the ones we just mentioned, I think District 9 looks pretty good, but I haven't seen it in a while, so I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But it does look really good. It's just my problem is with the choice and the concept of the Na'vi.
Yeah.
It's not with the way they look. I wouldn't have chosen them to look that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not with the technical ability of how they look,
Right.
and how aesthetically pleasing it is, and how they move, and all that stuff is really good. It's just I don't.
Although, okay, let me just say this. There's like a Disney World ride. It's not the good one. It's the dark ride.
What's the
that's
good
kinda
one?
Like the good one is where you're
Flight of
like
the Banshee or something?
Flight of Passage.
Flight of Passage.
It's the other one. And
I didn't even mention the Banshees in the
Navi
plot
River.
summary.
Yeah, Navi River Journey, and it's kind of like
yeah.
It's a small world where you just kind of are on a boat.
Yeah.
And at the end, they're like, "This is the best animatronic figure," and it's one of the Navi people like doing something. And
Yeah.
I'm looking, I'm like, "That's not that good."
Would you compare it? How would you compare it to the Hall of Presidents,
Hall of Presidents, they're like,
or what's the one? Carousel of Progress.
"It's a great big beautiful tomorrow."
That one has animatronics, right?
That one's supposed to be dated though, because that was at the World's Fair.
Yeah. So how does it compare to Avatar? River of whatever.
Navi River Journey.
Okay.
I don't know. Navi River Journey is probably better.
Do you think that with the new movie Navi River Journey, they're gonna add a part where you can dive in the water?
I hope so.
Okay, Cameron, get on it.
I would love that.
That's all I've got for questions. We're not recasting. We're not gonna bother.
Who cares?
I recast everybody.
Who cares?
Another thing I didn't like about the character models was that I felt like he tried to do that thing that they do in movies where they give whether it's CGI or animal or whatever creatures big eyes, like expressive
Make
eyes.
them expressive.
I think Neytiri has that a little bit, but I don't think that any of the other characters have that.
They're
And
like, why am I in this?
yeah, I mean, they're phoning it in.
Yeah.
You think like E.T. and Doug and Up and the fish guy in Shape of Water. Like the reason why
Mr. Fish.
yeah, exactly. Part of the reasons why you get attached to these characters is because of their eyes. And I think that they kind of tried to it was either they were trying to buck that trend or they were trying to lean into it, but it sort of got muddled in the middle. And I don't think that's something that doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Do you think that's why Bratz dolls had such big heads? That's my new conspiracy theory.
What is?
Bratz dolls are here to make you fall in love.
I mean, prove her wrong. Let's talk. We'll do Bratz talk.
Open your third eye.
Okay. Anyway, so I watched a behind the scenes thing on the sound.
God bless.
I did it while I was working. uh,
Delete that.
no, knowing next to nothing about sound editing, just from like working on this, like this is all I know how to do. It's like nothing. I can't even imagine having to like edit together the sounds and the like manufactured animal noises and make it sound like a real thing. Yeah. Like that's cool. That's an underrated part of this that I didn't appreciate when I was watching it. Because at the same time you're getting sounds that are like running, breathing, explosions, shooting. Like there's like a lot of stuff going on, and it's a really impressive feat that they were able to do that and make it sound convincing.
Sure.
There was a cool thing about the stunt doubles too. They had to sort of fill in the motion capture segments. So like I guess if they went back and redid something that the actors had already done, they had these like really cool stunt doubles. But Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana did most of their stuff.
That is cool.
By themselves. They learned how to, like, they were showing Zoe Saldana like crawling on the ground, like how like flexible the Na'vi are, like how they're like really agile, and she was like doing that, and it was that's how they got the motion capture into the movie.
That is cool.
Yeah, and then I mentioned the thing about T2 3D. So it was a cool little thing. It was like 25 minutes long.
Gave you a little more context.
Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. It was the actual featurettes from the DVD.
Oh,
so
cool.
That's what I watched.
Yeah, that's fun.
Trivia. What do we got here? Yeah, he originally wanted the movie finished in 1999. He wanted the budget to be $400 million in 1999.
Yeah.
And studios were like,
no.
But it was, I mean, it's bold coming off of Titanic.
Yeah.
He said, listen, this is what I want to do. And, 9 years later or 8 years later or whatever, it started.
He did it.
Yeah. He was convinced that CGI effects had progressed enough to make this film when he saw 2002.
2002. Lord of the Rings.
Gollum. He said, all right, I can do this.
There you go.
Most of the animal noises in the movie are recycled dinosaur noises from Jurassic Park. Yeah. Oh, this one I read and I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Sam Worthington, who is, as we mentioned, Australian, said in an interview that it was easy for him to master the Na'vi language than the American accent.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, we could tell.
We could tell, unfortunately.
Yeah. His accent slipped a lot.
It's okay.
Yeah, he'll wipe his tears with all his Avatar money.
Yeah, exactly.
According to James Cameron, which one of my favorite ways to start a sentence, the Na'vi are blue to create a conceptual parallel with traditional Hindu depictions of God. For example, Vishnu and his later avatars, which is a Sanskrit word meaning a manifestation of divinity in bodily form. But also just because Cameron likes the color blue. That's what he said.
Okay. Sure.
The Na'vi were partially inspired by a dream James Cameron's mother had about a tall blue woman. The idea of humans landing on an alien planet with a toxic atmosphere which necessitates breathing masks was an unused element from an original story Cameron had once written called Mother. The rest of the story had been used as the basis for his screenplay for Aliens.
Okay.
In James Cameron's films, this is my last one and I have a couple casting ones. In James Cameron's films, allies to the main characters often have references to Catholicism. In Aliens, the ally was called Bishop. In The Abyss, 1989, it was Monk. And in Avatar, Sigourney Weaver plays Grace Augustine. St. Augustine was a Catholic monk who brought Christianity to pagan England and became archbishop. And one manner of address for an archbishop is Your Grace.
Wow.
Yeah, don't know if that means anything, but apparently he does that in 3 of his movies.
That's cool.
Casting. I'm actually going to start from the bottom. Cameron didn't want to cast Sigourney Weaver at first because he said that she was the safe casting for that part.
Yeah, because she was an alien.
Yeah. The original considerations were Jodie Foster and Jamie Lee Curtis.
They'd be fine.
They'd be the exact same.
They'd be the same.
Yeah. Michael Biehn was considered for Quaritch.
Okay.
Who's the guy from Terminator and Terminator 2. Cameron rejected him because he'd already cast Sigourney Weaver, and he didn't want people to think it was Aliens all over again because he was also the guy in Aliens, her friend in Aliens. And regarding Sully, as I mentioned, he cast Sam Worthington in large part because he was sort of an everyman, not a movie star or whatever. The first choices from the studio were Matt Damon and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
To what a blockbuster would wand.
Yeah, on the short list were Chris Evans
Yep.
and Channing Tatum,
Okay.
which are
Those all would fit.
yeah. Damon once revealed he turned down an offer from Cameron to star in Avatar, which would have netted him 10% of the movie's profits, which as of 22 is $290 million.
Yo, Sam Worthington.
He said he couldn't, assuming he got that 10% deal.
Yeah.
He said he couldn't because he was working on the Bourne Ultimatum. Matt. Yeah.
Should have done it.
That's the casting. That's the casting of Avatar. Michael Biehn is great.
Okay.
He would have been a better. I don't know if I've ever seen him as a villain. Actually,
Michael, please. Michael Biehn, Amanda Bynes.
Oh man. I don't know. I think that might be it. I think that's all I've got on Avatar. Do you have anything else?
No.
Tell us something else about Avatar.
Avatar, the food in Pandora is pretty good.
Oh, I have that in the Ebert review.
Okay.
I'll do the Ebert review first. Someone could talk food.
Okay.
Ebert gave it a 4 out of 4.
Bold.
He said, Avatar is not simply a sensational entertainment, although it is that. It's a technical breakthrough. It has a flat-out green and anti-war message. It is predestined to launch a cult. It contains such visual detailing that it would reward repeated viewings. It invents a new language, Na'vi, as Lord of the Rings did, although mercifully, I doubt this one can be spoken by humans, even teenage humans. It creates new movie stars. It is an event, capital E. One of those films you feel you must see to keep up with the conversation. Like Star Wars and LOTR, Avatar employs a new generation of special effects. Cameron said it would, and many doubted him. It does. Pandora is very largely CGI. The Na'vi are embodied through motion capture techniques convincingly. They look like specific, persuasive individuals, yet sidestep the eerie, uncanny valley effect. I don't know what that means. And Cameron and his artists succeed at the difficult challenge of making Neytiri a blue-skinned giantess with golden eyes and a long, supple tail, and yet, I'll be damned, sexy.
Roger.
Ebert, what is going on, man?
Roger.
At 163 minutes, the film doesn't feel too long. It contains so much. The human stories, the complexity of the planet which harbors a global secret, the ultimate warfare with Jake joining the resistance against his former comrades, small graceful details like a floating creature that looks like a cross between a blowing dandelion seed and a drifting jellyfish and embodies goodness, or astonishing floating cloud islands. I've complained that many recent films abandon storytelling in their third acts and go for wall-to-wall action. Cameron essentially does that here,
Yeah.
but has invested well in establishing his characters so that it matters what they do in battle and how they do it. There are issues at stake greater than simply which side wins. It takes a hell of a lot of nerve for a man to stand up at the Oscar cast and proclaim himself king of the world. James Cameron just got re-elected.
All I can say to that is everybody makes mistakes.
Oh man, Raj.
I mean, but I gotta say, I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's the best.
We continue to stand Roger Ebert.
Always.
So yeah, the final thing. I have the Mrs. Nesbitt award. I didn't even think of anybody. I don't know.
Nobody.
I don't know what
Who
happened in
cares?
this movie. I don't know. I guess Jake. I don't know. Sure, we're gonna go with Jake. Food. Let's talk about Disney World.
It's good. I got tofu.
What's the place called?
It's called Satuli Canteen.
Yes.
And you get like a bowl of whatever you want. And I do the tofu, chili spice tofu with the noodles, the lo mein. And it's good. You get a little slaw on top.
I don't remember what I got, but I remember it being good.
You got shrimp, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no food in this movie,
No.
right? So I think maybe there is, but nothing memorable.
Oh, he has to eat eggs really fast before going back to Pandora.
Oh, okay. So there's eggs in this movie. But yeah, it's interesting that they came up with a whole menu
Yeah, I love that.
of like Avatar inspired things
Yeah.
without maybe they're in the books, maybe the Cameron
It's like
novels.
5,000 books, yeah.
Yeah. But any Avatar heads out there, please let us know why.
Just why? Just in general. Why?
Oh yeah. So does Avatar make baby's first watch list?
Yeah!
Yes. Avatar makes it because it's part of the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
that's true. That's true.
But it made so much money.
Yeah.
So why not? Go watch it.
Yeah. Do you have any takeaways?
No.
Okay.
Be nice to the planet or whatever.
So I said, related to the movie, I said, listen, it's important that when there are people who are like in the grind of certain issues that you listen to those people.
Yeah,
Right?
that's good.
You
I
gotta
like
listen
that.
to the Navi.
Yeah.
You don't want to. We're not kicking them out of their place for the freaking unobtainium. You listen to their needs and what they want, and you react to that because you're not always right, you know. But now, in a broader sense, focus. Try to understand which of your ideas make sense and which don't work.
I kind of, all right, so mine is, you know, people have passion for something like James Cameron really likes this. Go for it, dude.
Let them do it.
Do your thing.
Pump all this money into it. Who cares?
Yeah, why not?
Who cares?
Go for
Stimulate the economy, people.
Go off, King.
Yeah, exactly. So that's Avatar.
Yeah, love it. That was a great movie.
Yeah.
What are we doing next?
So I actually wrote down, I think I released this already by now online, but our January slate. Next week, we're going to do GRIZZLY MAN.
It's the best.
It's probably our favorite documentary.
It's so good.
This is our first documentary that we're going to do. It's not boring.
Heck
I don't know if you
no.
like documentaries or not. It's not boring. You should watch it. It's on Kanopy, which is the library card service.
Get a library card.
Tubi and freevee. So it's on. There are free sources for it.
Yeah.
And it's not too long. It's like 100 minutes.
It's so good.
You really should check it out. It's about this guy named Timothy Treadwell, who is he tried to live with grizzly bears for
a bunch of 10 summers.
a bunch of summers.
And it didn't end well.
It didn't end well, and that's not a spoiler because the first time you see him, it shows his birthday and his death day.
Yes.
So,
and it's Werner Herzog.
It's Werner Herzog, who is amazing and the best, and he was in The Mandalorian. And then we're also going to do Spirited Away.
Yes.
We're going to do Knives Out.
Yes.
We're going to do an Oscar nominations episode when they come out.
Yes.
And we're going to do Step Brothers. So it's going to be a jam-packed month.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to go nuts.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's it. Rate, review, subscribe, follow everywhere, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I don't know if we have anything else.
And go see Avatar, The Way of Water.
Go see Avatar, The Way of Water. We love you, James Cameron.
Bye-bye.
See ya.